welcome to the Alpha Nerd Podcast. I am your main host, Kyle, along with my co-host, Andrew.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about video games, per usual.
What?
Yeah, right?
What?
So, let's start this off with upcoming games.
Upcoming games. I've heard of this game. I don't think you've ever mentioned it. It's called Live Alive.
Yes, I've mentioned it.
Nope.
Because I'm the one who did the editing for the third episode about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's the first I was hearing of it today.
No.
So it's a remake, right?
Yes.
Did you ever play the original?
I never played the original, but the concept looked interesting enough that I want to play it.
It's about time traveling cowboys.
Yeah, you time travelers, just in general. It's a time traveling RPG. It's very reminiscent of Chrono Cross.
Uh-huh.
I guess it came out around that time, and it just never took off. And
yeah,
they're just like, let's see if we can make Lightning Strike twice. Make Strike for the first time.
How does the time travel work in the game?
I have no idea.
You know? Is there some kind of like trigger for time, like a chrono
trigger?
Yeah.
No, that's a different thing.
Okay, my bad.
So I really don't know that much about it. I'm looking forward to trying it though. I'm going to play the demo here in a week or two.
Okay. I'm looking forward to your thorough review of the demo.
You're right. My thorough 10-minute review of the demo.
I mean, if it only takes 10 minutes.
That's if I don't get distracted by the other game that's coming out here in a couple weeks.
What game is that?
Xenoblade.
What? This is the first I'm hearing of this game, too.
I'm going to stab you with this pencil.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the third one.
Yes.
That's the full title.
The third one.
With the pawn.
Yet another one. And they somehow reinstated mechs into it.
Yep.
Now two people fusion dance into mechs.
Yeah, right? It's Dragon Ball Battletech. You know what? Actually, that would sell gangbusters.
So, it would.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'm curious. I'm definitely going to pick it up at some point. Probably not right away.
Why not?
Because I got so many other things to play and do.
But what's more important? Playing the game that just came out or playing some of these backlog games that you're not going to play anyways?
The latter. That's the later one is more important.
No.
Yeah, yes, it is. Speaking of games that I have played, we're not done with feature games yet. Is there anything else coming out?
They made the announcement for Fallout 5.
Yeah, so okay. I want to preface everybody who's excited right now. Todd Howard just casually mentioned that they are working on Fallout 5 to no one's shock. But he's just right? Like, well, of course we have Fallout 5. Well, and they're not going to just not make a Fallout 5. They're sitting there like, we like money.
And they're going to make money off Fallout 5.
But it's actually after Elder Scrolls 6, which is a game that had one trailer, 5 years ago? And it's still in pre-production, Kyle.
We're not going to see it for a while.
Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be, I would guess, at optimistic 2025. You're not going to see Fallout 5 until like 2028.
2025, though? I'll give them 2023.
Starfield is coming out in 2023, Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way they're going to release an Elder Scrolls 6 game unless they release it buggy. Oh, so they're actually might be an Elder Scrolls 6 game.
What are we talking about now? What are we talking about?
I'm going to say Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be 2025. They're going to try and push to 2024, but it's not going to work. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, probably not.
Fallout 5 is going to be 2028, which it'll be great because you can play Fallout 5 in the actual wasteland of 2028.
Right.
So it's going to be exciting. Yeah, that was just kind of like, I like how Todd Howard just like dropped that in one conversation. He's like, oh yeah, we're doing Fallout 5 too.
Yeah, right. Like a dink.
I imagine like the entire Bethesda HR or media department is like, Todd, no, stop, Todd,
no.
He's like, what? I run this place.
Yeah, like
what are you gonna do to me?
There's a bunch of times they do that though. They have somebody spokesperson for them, and they start running their mouth, and then some little dweeby guy's got to come out of the corner like whisper in his ear, and then he's like, well, I have to be quiet now, and I gotta stop running my mouth.
Who's the head of PR with Bethesda? Isn't that Pete Hines? I think it's Pete Hines.
I think it is.
I think he's the guy that keeps calling Bethesda games not buggy. Like they work perfectly fine. And I don't know what games he's playing. Unless Bethesda keeps some secret build just in their facility that has all the bugs gone.
You're right.
But they definitely that guy gets his money's worth right there. Like But yeah, Fallout 5. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I like Fallout. I'm curious to see where this one is because they're not doing the West Coast. The West Coast is they don't want to like have themselves compare to like the old Obsidian stuff, like New Vegas or any of the Fallout 1, 2. Bethesda just doesn't want to be compared to those. So they're like, this is East Coast only.
Fair enough.
Fallout 76 was what, Virginia?
Yes, West Virginia.
Take me home, country.
We're
We're gonna get sued. Yeah,
copyright strike right there.
Yeah. Fallout 76 was West Virginia.
Yeah. 4 was Boston.
Yeah, 4 was Boston.
4 was Boston. 3 was DC.
Yeah, Washington D.C. I mean, Fallout 5. There's a lot of places they could go. Fallout 5, Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
They go to Pennsylvania.
Woo.
The only thing there is like a mutated cheesesteak.
Right.
I mean, they went to the pit, to be fair. They went to Pittsburgh. And weirdly enough, the pit expansion was actually just modern day Pittsburgh. That was the oddest thing.
Right.
That was just so weird. Like, I've been to Pittsburgh and I'm like, this is identical.
They could do Florida.
It's just an all water. Like, it's an all water game.
It's all underwater and everyone's a meth head.
The only enemy is Florida Man. Actually, he's like the tyrant from Resident Evil 2. Right. He just pursues you constantly in different forms.
Yeah.
Florida Man is stalking you.
Right. Trying to think of other good spots they could do.
On the East Coast?
New York City.
Oh, yes. New York City, like Manhattan. Those ones are like, that is the big one that they're kind of like skirting around. They're like, because, I mean, that's just a huge one. They could just do New Jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's New Jersey.
Yeah, Snooki will be there.
Still alive.
Right.
Preserved perfectly by the radiation.
I'm trying to think.
Other good places they could set it on the East Coast. I mean, there's a lot of interesting
They could
places.
do Maine.
They could do Maine. I mean, to be fair, they could do so many different places. They did West Virginia for 76, and they actually made it mildly interesting. So
it was a good map. I'll give them that. The map was great.
For 76? Yeah,
yes.
The map was really good.
Everything else about it sucked.
Yeah, it did. On release, it was horrible. It still has issues, but they've saved it a lot. They have. Actually, did you know, have you seen Fallout 4 New London?
Yeah, I saw that, but I have not played it.
Well, it's not out yet.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
It's a huge mod for Fallout 4 set in good old Britain. I believe that's how it's pronounced.
Yes, but not with a Texans accent, but you know.
Y'all. Isn't that
good old Brad?
I thought
that sounds like some country hick trying to do an imitation of somebody.
You what, mate? There, that's better.
Oh,
Governor, right?
Give it up.
No, I will never. Anyways, it's set in post-apocalyptic London, so under the Boris Johnson administration, and it's so good that Bethesda is trying to hire the people doing the mod. They actually hired 2 people off the mod to go work at Bethesda. That's how good the Fallout 4 London's looking. Another person they tried to hire just refused. He was like, "I got to finish this mod." But 2 other people were like, "Yeah, give me that paycheck. I'm gone."
Oh, they'll probably let him finish the mod though.
just let him finish. Just let him finish.
Because they don't want to ruin that.
But it has like mutated elephants and like you can ride bicycles. Just, the standard elements of British culture.
Yeah, elephants.
Yeah, elephants and bicycles.
All those elephants that are.
Yeah, exactly. But it looks really interesting. I am excited to see it come out because no matter what form it can arrive, it's gonna be less buggy than Fallout 4. It might actually stabilize the game
somehow.
But yeah, that looked good, and Bethesda obviously thinks those people are very talented, so they're doing they're poaching as many of them as they can.
I bet they are. I'm yawning. Yeah, I don't know why. I wasn't even tired. I'm not even tired. I'm just yawning all the time.
That's what Live Alive does to you?
Yeah, no, it must just be the muggy studio.
Studio is muggy. So is that our game news? What else do we got?
They are leaking things that make everyone think there's going to be a new hardware update for the Switch, like a Switch Pro.
They've done that for like 100 years, though.
Yeah, for
Yeah, like the 100-year history of the Switch.
Switch, yeah. So 1919, they weren't worried about, equal rights or anything, or the Civil War. They were worried about there being a Switch Pro.
I'm going to point out that I was in my 20s when the Switch came out. Like,
So was I.
I'm just saying that sounds impressive, but the Switch came out 5 years ago, and like every year, someone's like, "They're going to do a Switch Pro. They're going to do a Switch Pro." And Nintendo's like, "No, suckers are buying all this stuff left and right.
Yeah.
They're even buying the drifting Joy-Cons, which now they'll fix for free because they got sued."
Yeah, well,
But like people buy the Switch. They do not care.
it is by far the strongest, probably overall selling console right now.
I'm pretty sure it is because it's just
Everyone has one.
everyone likes it. I mean, the Valve was smart and they were like, "Hey, we have this thing called the Steam Deck. Buy it. It's like a Switch, but better. Just not with Nintendo games."
Or battery life.
Yeah, so a
or
Switch.
this.
I remember getting my Switch for the first time and playing Breath of the Wild and it dying in like an hour and 30 minutes. And I'm like, technology!
Yay.
I'm like, this is a bad Android phone from 2014.
We have all that Final Fantasy update stuff we never really talked about with
What,
the
like Final Fantasy, was it 16?
No, with the 7 remake reunion or
Oh yeah, the 18 Final Fantasy 7 games they announced. It was a remake of like Crisis Core, and it was the second part of Final Fantasy 7 remake, part 2 remake interlude master intercede,
but not called remake, called reunion or
rebirth.
Yeah,
I think,
rebirth,
something like
rebirth,
that.
yeah.
Then there was another game too
for the mobile that was also like, what are they doing?
I mean, I'm glad. What are you doing over there?
The foot's stuck on the other side of headphones.
I'm glad they're finally making the part 2, considering that they stretched the first hour of Final Fantasy VII into the Final Fantasy VII remake game.
I mean, it's a little more than an hour, but
Let's not like really try to justify that. I mean,
it was the first disc.
I liked Final Fantasy VII remake.
I know you did,
but it still was an impressive feat to turn that little bit of story into that long of a game. On the other hand, I am excited. They've finally announced and are like, "Hey, this is coming as a PlayStation 5 exclusive," which means it'll be on PC like 3 years later,
right?
I think.
And then what? The other one was like a phone one?
I don't even
something
know.
Weird like that.
Well, one was a remake of Crisis Core.
The remake of Crisis Core is for like all the systems.
Yeah, I believe so.
But there was another one that was like a remake of the remake for the phone, I think. I'm being dead serious. I think it is.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't pay much attention to it.
It was something weird because it threw me off. I'm like, what?
You know what looks good though? I think the new Final Fantasy looks good. Final Fantasy 16. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Were you fighting a yawn?
Yes.
Okay. It looked like
I don't know.
eaten a lemon right there, so I was wondering. It's done by the guy who runs Final Fantasy 14.
Yes.
Whose name I cannot remember. And Final Fantasy 14 is good. I mean, it's an MMO, but it's still good. Final Fantasy 16 looks interesting. I do greatly appreciate the trailer being like, check out all these like monsters you can summon for the battles, and it shows like Ifrit and Shiva.
Well, I guess like you're like possessed by them or something.
Yes. So
and you're like the representation of them.
From what I gathered, like one of they're like primals, I think they're called, which is a thing that's shared amongst many Final Fantasy games, but they like pick someone to possess or like personify them, become like their avatar.
Yeah.
And like it can be anybody. It's not just like
these specific people.
Right. It can be anyone. Because I remember reading some blurb about one of the NPCs that said like he was a nobody before Titan picked him or something like that. Now he's like leading the armies. And I was like, okay, so this is some weird game. It's supposed to be rated M. Like they're going for like an M rating.
Wow.
Yeah. I am like they're really like starting to be like this is gonna be like adult Final Fantasy. You're gonna see actual Chocobo die. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna see Chocobo die.
and
Yeah.
maybe some side boob.
So a normal Final Fantasy game is what you're saying.
I'm sorry, straight up boob.
But it looks interesting. They're not doing an open world as far as I'm aware.
That's just good.
Like he's taking it in the direction he wants to take it. He succeeded so well with Final Fantasy 14 that Square Enix is finally like, sure,
Do what you want.
yeah, do it, go ahead. And it looks interesting. It's a PlayStation exclusive for console. I believe it's coming to PC as well. It'll probably come to Xbox in like 2-3 years afterwards.
Yeah, maybe. I might have a PlayStation by then.
Ooh,
Maybe.
wow.
Who knows? So where I'm at with it is like I just hope they don't do what they did with 15.
I mean, have all the totally straight guys in that party drive around in a convertible the whole game?
No.
Yo, they're bros.
Yeah, the bros.
They're bros, Kyle.
It was just they made it seem like it, well, let's put it like this: the first I'd say half of the game was really nice and open world.
Yeah.
And I figured you get to do a lot more in it, and I didn't realize how cram packed the story missions were. I didn't realize that it wasn't that long of a campaign.
It is not. Actually, I have a review today where I'll discuss that exact thing in a different game.
Yeah, like it made it seem like it was be. Also, didn't like the hunts and stuff. Like you had all this open world, but there was nothing to do.
Exactly. So open world games suffer from a problem. A lot of people call it the Ubisoftization of open world games, where Ubisoft had one big open world game, Far Cry 3. And then they made every other open world game they made pretty much identical to Far Cry 3. Most of the stuff that you could do on the map was pointless. It didn't do anything.
This really didn't do anything.
Exactly. So that I saw a lot of people saying that a game like Elden Ring was the opposite of that. Which, in a way, it is. Elden Ring is an open world game, but it doesn't signpost anything for you. You have to explore, go find your stuff, and pretty much everything you do is rewarding. Like, the stuff you get is a big deal. And it's not like you're just climbing a radio tower. You're doing a little dungeon. There may be unique enemies or a unique boss in there. Now, granted, they reuse the tile set for a lot of the little, they're called like catacombs or caves. But it does it in a really good way. Where'd your Frappuccino go?
I already drank it.
Oh, no! Yep. But it does it in a really good way. A lot of open world games fall into the mistake that the more stuff that's on the map means the better the game is. When in reality, it's mostly just wastes of time.
Yeah, like, I'll give you a good example. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Most of the stuff's just useless.
No, but I didn't. All right, with the open world Final Fantasy 15, I got bored with it because it was just like drive here, try to find this monster. You killed it. Talk to this one dude. All of a sudden, you're jumped into another mission that's like on the opposite side, and you auto. I think the traversal thing is also what made it really hard. Is it wasn't practical to walk anywhere,
right?
So you didn't
and
really.
The car was annoying,
and you couldn't actually drive the car when they said free drive. You couldn't just drive it off road or whatever. So it took that away from me. And I think when you just put the auto, you just let it cruise for you, and then you got bored.
So you beat it and you got the flying car, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the flying car was great until landing it is kind of a pain. And also, as soon as I got the flying car, I immediately flew like towards the center of the map, and I didn't realize the car wouldn't auto navigate around things, and I just hit a wall and died instantly in the car.
So,
and I was like, "What? You can do that?"
Like I think, and that's part of it. Like I said, the reason why I think I might not like this is because the traversal was not great.
It wasn't. It was very inconvenient. They really tried to stick to this is a road trip theme, much to the detriment of the actual game. Yeah.
And then there was like. I remember like the second or third cave in after you get the initial arms and stuff, where you meet the snake-headed lady, and she's like, I know some things, and I got stuff to tell you. And then you just kill her, and that was it. There's nothing leading up to that.
It was very clear in Final Fantasy 15's development that, boy, did they not know what they were doing in a lot of cases. They were just throwing stuff at a wall.
And then you got past the first...
Prompto's a robot.
Right?
He's a robot.
He's a clone that's going to be turned into a robot.
It's even dumber. That's even dumber.
Right? So that was also a big problem. But the main thing I had issue with is like the storyline was already at a fast pace in the first half.
Yeah.
And then after you beat Titan, they're like, all right, let's do some more things, more story stuff, more development. And all of a sudden they're like, now we got to move to the next city and try to do something about Leviathan and all this nice setup, you know, have to do a political conversation of getting this lady's help who looks exactly like Hillary Clinton.
That's true. That is actually
And you
true.
go through all setting that up, and then you go that big climactic battle with Leviathan, and it's really epic, and then your wife gets stabbed.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, fourth gear, let's do this. Straight lines.
Yep.
Everything was straight lines. Everything was rushed.
Yeah. Now, Kyle, I heard if you watch the Kingsglaive movie that it thoroughly explains the story.
It thoroughly explains some of it up to a certain point. Like
why do you have to watch a movie to understand that?
Right.
It's the Halo 4 problem all over again.
Right?
It's like, what?
Like the parts that I really wish you would have got to see were like the fall of the Empire. Instead of showing up after it was already gone and destroyed and on fire.
Yep.
So they went for the Bioshock 1 effect on that.
Oh, yes. Final Fantasy 15 and Bioshock. 2 games deeply related.
Well, what I meant is like...
No, I understand. Like, but they were going to show the end results. Because that was the point of Bioshock. Bioshock, you were trying to figure out...
You showed up after everything happened.
Yeah, after everything happened, you were like, how did this happen? And you just find out, oh, it was people being terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
this one was what happened, then you had to read some documents, and it vaguely...
Yeah, why is Ifrit at the end of the game? Why is he like the boss at the end of the game?
He's not the boss.
Okay, all right.
He's the more difficult mini-boss. And the reason why is he was the only of the Celestials that actually agreed with Arden.
Oh, okay. They don't really explain that.
Yeah, I know. They do in the DLC of Arden why he...
Oh, I didn't bother to play that.
Yeah, it was...
I played like 5 minutes of the Prompto DLC, and I'm like, this is horrible.
So, I'll give you that one real quick. Long story short, they thought Arden was the...
I don't really need this information in my life, Kyle. It's okay.
Yes, you do. Nope.
Okay.
I had to I had to go through it.
Please,
But
no.
it's just real quick, is they thought Arden was like the king that was going to bring the light.
Uh-huh.
And you found out it wasn't because his powers of healing the Star Scourge or whatever it's called, the disease that were turning people into demons.
Yeah.
He was taken into himself, healing these people, and what you found out, he became corrupted by it.
Yeah.
So the gods turned his back on him, and then they kind of tricked his brother into trying to kill him and his wife, and really overconvoluted. Yeah, that was the face I made when I learned this.
This is terrible. This is
so
awful.
pretty much after he became completely corrupted by the Star Scourge, he became immortal from it. He didn't realize it, but he did. And then
That's actually a curious question. If you became immortal, how would you know? Like, you would seriously have to get into a situation that would kill you. Something that most people avoid on a regular basis.
Yeah,
like,
right.
if I was immortal, I wouldn't know. Because I'd be dead trying to find out, or I would know I was immortal.
Yeah. So after his brother kills his wife, his brother tries to kill him. That's how he kind of find out he's immortal, because he wakes up. He gets stabbed through the heart, but it instantly wakes up and heals from it. And then they're like, all right, apparently we can't kill this dude, so let's lock him in a basement. And that's when the Empire finds him.
Yeah.
And then the Empire awakens him, gets him to fight Ifrit. He can corrupt select. At first, Ifrit was against him, and then he gave him some of the Star Scourge back.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? You make some sense here. And joined him.
Okay.
And then what you find out is that when the first king, Noctis's dad,
Yeah.
was young, Arden attacked the kingdom, beat him up. The king, the brother of Arden, showed up as one of the kings that died in the past. You know, the giant armors.
Yeah.
Tried to fight him, got beat up, and then he didn't kill him. He just let it go. He already proved he could kill him. And then he's like, all right, Celestials, I'll play your game. Show me this new future king, and I'll try my best to kill him or fulfill the prophecy. But either way, I'm going to do what I want, which didn't make sense. because his whole thing was he was rebelling against the Celestials, but then he's like, I'll go along with your plan, but I will still try to win.
So yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's all over the place.
You know what else doesn't make sense? You live forever and you dress like that. Like it's terrible. He looks awful.
He looks homeless.
Yeah, he does. And I get that that's kind of the point. He's like trying to hide in plain sight. But he doesn't.
No.
He does not hide in plain sight.
Yeah, and he drives a super nice car. So it was really convoluted, and then all the DLCs made it worse.
Like I said, I played the Prompto one for 5 minutes, and I was like, this is not worth my time at all. Like, what is this?
The Prompto one's what?
You have to go around the tower and like use magic on shadows or something.
That was the second DLC. The first one was
Gladiolus, yeah.
His was okay. It still didn't make sense.
He's just running through some place stabbing people.
Yeah, trying to fight Gilgamesh and then got beat up by Gilgamesh.
Yeah, I didn't even try the. There was one for what's his name, right? The blind dude.
What is his name?
I don't know.
Ignis.
Ignis. There we go. I knew
his is really stupid because it's just saying what happened to him and how he became blind. It was really stupid and overdramatic.
Okay, that's fair.
It could have just been like, hey, a bomb went in his face and shrapnel got stuck in his head.
Do you have to play the bomb? Like, what do you do?
No, remember the Ring of Lucius?
Yeah.
He puts that on, and because he's serving the king, it doesn't kill him like it does everybody else.
Yeah.
But it burnt out his eyes, too.
Okay.
It was a consequence of him using the ring, but he got the full powers of the ring for temporarily, so it just burnt out his eyes.
Oh, okay.
On accident.
Oh, all right. So it's an industrial accident.
Yes.
It's on.
He's Daredevil now.
Yeah, like jeez.
So it's
that's horrible.
It was really poorly put together, and they put DLCs in there trying to explain everything together.
That's terrible. All right. I want to talk about an open world game that I actually finished recently, and I finished it way faster than I expected to finish it. So I think last time I was on, I mentioned that a friend of mine was lending me Horizon Forbidden West. So
you also mentioned about your friend loaning you an Xbox.
I have the Xbox. It is set up. I haven't had the courage to start Sonic yet. It's coming. I can feel it in the air tonight.
Oh, it's going to start next week. I will hound you every day. But I'll send you a picture message of Sonic every day.
So just not anything lewd, Kyle. Just not.
I will do as I please.
Oh no!
Till you start playing it.
Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation. I actually liked. I thought the story was really good. The twists in it were solid. The setting was unique. Like, come on, robot dinosaurs, like in a weird tribal society. I'm on board with that. That's cool. The story was really good. The gameplay was
generic.
Yeah, it's like a stealth game where you shoot parts off the robot dinosaurs to like craft stuff.
To be able to shoot the other parts of robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, the first game's combat system wasn't stellar, and the upgrade system was pretty bad, and the equipment system was pretty bad. The game pretty much survived on the story and like the aesthetics and the dialogue, everything else. So, enter Horizon Forbidden West. This game's been in development for 5 years. It finally came out this spring. And it was supposed to be huge. It's a big thing. It takes place immediately after the end of the events in Zero Dawn, which I will spoil. At the end of Zero Dawn, you beat Hades, an AI from the past, and stop it from killing all of humanity, only to find out that Hades was actually set up by someone else. And you kind of spend the story on the repercussions of that. And one of the weird things about Forbidden West is that while it doesn't have that pending mystery like Zero Dawn had, where you found out at the end of Zero Dawn you were actually on Earth, that it was just Earth that had been eradicated by machines that one really stupid dude accidentally made. And like how everybody at the end of the world developed a way for human life to come back, the Zero Dawn project.
That's why everyone was weirdly diverse in that.
Yeah, pretty much. But in Forbidden West, you already know that answer, and now the mystery is, okay, so how did the events of the first game even start? And that's kind of where you begin the game. Like, why did this even happen?
Yeah.
And things are like still getting worse on the planet, so you got to race against time to solve it. And one thing I will say about the game is there isn't really much mystery to it. The game, the game does the Chekhov's gun thing, where the very first mission tells you exactly what the first mystery's answer is going to be. Like, that's not even a spoiler. If you can't get it, I'm very disappointed in you.
You need to help it.
Like, the tutorial is just like, oh, we're going through these ruins with these people. Boy, we're going to tell you a lot about these people that you've never had to hear about before. This can't come in handy at any point in time. It's really dumb. I will say, though, the story is good. Once you get past the signposting in the very beginning, it takes a lot of interesting turns, and there is just a complete 360 no-scope right at the very end that sets up Horizon 3, like, immediately. Like, you get to the very end of the game, and I'm pretty sure that in the background, when they were developing the end cutscene, they just had a sign that said, Horizon 3 here.
You're right.
Because, like, there is no breathing room. In Horizon Zero Dawn, there was a little after the credits cutscene that was like, ooh, wonder what could be happening. At the end of Horizon 2, it is, we are making a third game, and you will buy and play it. So I like the story. The characterization was very good. And I gotta say, whoever did the motion capture for the NPCs, that is like the best facial tech I have ever seen in a game. It is amazing what they did with like the dialogue and the NPC interactions. It's astounding.
Now, I'm going to poke a little hole into your... Because there was a point of it that didn't make sense to me.
Which one?
The whole fact is, everyone knows, because this is Aloy, right? That's her name?
Aloy.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it was Aloy.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about another game that had another...
Yeah, Aloy and Rost, the dumbest names in existence.
Exactly.
Although apparently Aloy is actually old German for warrior.
Yeah. So...
Go figure on that one. I thought it was a bad joke.
Aloy...
Okay.
Everyone knows that the key to the world's survival is her because of her special genetic code and stuff. Everybody knows it.
Actually, nobody knows it. It's made very clear that most people know she's important, but nobody knows exactly who she is.
But you know she's important.
Yes.
And everyone lets her just wander off with giant murder dinosaurs by herself.
That's actually kind of a point of the game. Like, the very first thing you do in the game is you're on your own, and basically one of your friends forces you to take him along.
Yes, but that's... The point that I'm saying is the first game was her trying to... She was an outcast.
Yeah, nobody knew she was important.
Yeah, nobody... No, I'm saying, but in the first game, this started out, she was the outcast.
Because she had no mother.
And she tried to force her way into being a warrior so she could have people... So she could either find out about her past or people accept her.
Well, she did find out about her past.
But I'm saying that was the whole purpose, was she's trying to get acceptance and find out about her past.
Yeah, because she didn't know why.
Then she did that, and now she's just like, nope, I don't want anybody around. I have to do it all on my own. And here's the thing. I'd punch her in her face. I know she's important. Why would you send her, the most important person, into a cave by herself?
Because she's the only one who can actually access any of this stuff.
Yes, but don't you think it'd be smart to send in, I don't know,
But you...
all the other dudes that can, die for her, and then once the way's clear, send her in to just unlock it and be done with it?
Sure.
That's a flaw.
Except
You're sending in the most important piece you have.
nobody cares. You understand that, right? Like, the whole thing in the game.
But the thing is, people know the world's coming to an end. They all know they're dying off.
They don't. That's actually a thing in the game, is they don't. They just know the world's getting sicker.
Yeah. Thus, the world's dying. If things on the planet are not going right, you have to have that general concern as a person
But
that something's not right and it's going bad. And you know this person's important.
You are arguing a point of infinite knowledge. There is no infinite knowledge here.
Okay.
So what you're arguing is everyone understands immediately that she is the most important thing in existence.
No. I'm saying you know she's important of some sort.
Okay.
Why would you let it frequently put itself in danger?
In Forbidden West, she tells people all the time that what she is doing is going to save the world. And everybody tells her, okay, sure. Like, nearly everyone in the game is like, Like, I don't really think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Until she actually does something, and then they're like, oh, maybe she is telling the truth. Like, that's actually kind of a big point in the game, is very few people trust her. Like, She saved a city at the end of the first game, but no one really like the enormity of the events of the end of the first game do not carry very far, because in Forbidden West you leave the eastern US and you head to the western US.
Yes.
And in the western US they're like, we don't care who you are.
Yes, but let's say all her friends in the east.
She has like three friends.
Yeah, but you think they would,
They do.
not
They
let
come with her.
Yeah, and they don't do a very good job of helping her.
Actually,
Like,
they do it extremely
periodically.
good.
I would not.
I can spoil the very end, but they do an extremely good
Yes,
job.
but
of
what I'm
helping
saying
her.
is all the stuff in between. Like let's say in our group of friends, we found out Scott, name drop, was extremely important. We don't specifically know why or how. But Scott's like, if Scott looked at us and goes, I would go in this spooky cave with all these monster dinosaurs. I'll be back.
You know what?
I wouldn't let him go by himself.
I'm a good enough friend. I know that he can handle himself if he says so. I know for a fact. I trust him with this.
If looks could talk.
I don't really have an issue with that plot point, mainly because
I'm not saying it ruins the game, but it's just one of those.
No, I understand where you're coming from. The thing is, the game does take pains to point out that, yeah, you're right. She does not want to have anybody else do this because she thinks it's her problem.
Yeah.
And everybody else is kind of like, okay, you can go ahead and do whatever you want. Did I turn my mic off? No, there we go. But she does have friends who insist upon helping her and who get pretty messed up trying to help her.
I don't know. It just seems like the Lara Croft thing, like with the Lara Croft remakes.
It is.
Like,
I mean, that's just the
have
conceit
to do
of the
this. No,
story.
you don't. You don't have to do anything.
You understand that's called dramatic tension, Kyle.
It's
right?
not good dramatic tension.
So every single story, no hero should go out on their own if any knowledge about how important that hero is available to any other living person in the story.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Is it not every story needs to be that, though? Like the Lara Croft thing?
Mm-hmm. Lara Croft saved the world repeatedly, Kyle, and everybody knew it.
But in those games, it was a little more dramatic.
Hold on, Kyle. Hold on. She saved the world repeatedly. She was going to save the world repeatedly. And yet, what? She went out on her own. Everybody that went with her either died or got captured.
Are we talking about the new ones? Right?
Yeah, the
new ones.
Yeah, poor Jonah.
Yeah, no, like there's parts of it they're like, hey, we can help you. She goes, no, I have to do this. I'm like, no, not by yourself. Like,
call the Coast Guard.
Yeah, somebody. We have guns. She's like, nope, I got this.
Yeah, but Kyle, you understand that would just be a terrible story, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
It would just be an awful story if every time that occurred.
I don't know. I just didn't like those games too because it was an excuse to watch her get beat up or crushed. Or
I don't know who made those Tomb Raider games. Like, I like them, but whoever made the death animations had some problems with women. Like, they had some serious problems with women.
So I don't know. I just felt it was not a good game. Like they were successes. They were mind-blowing successes, all the games.
What, Tomb Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
They're 100% successes. I can't say that.
You know they're making another one, right?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
But as far as everything goes, as far as the writing stuff, I didn't think they were good.
They were not successes to Square Enix, I will tell you that much. They were sales disappointments, every single one of them. And everyone was like, why do you keep making them? But back to Horizon, okay? I like the story. The fact that there's no overwhelming mystery because the game signposts pretty hard, that's a given. The ending is like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get a sequel. The thing that I noticed about it the most is that it is a massive open world. It's actually not as big as I thought it was gonna be, considering it's the entire western half of the US from like the Rockies on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty tiny. It's pretty like we're I know a lot of games get crap for being small representations of the US or another country. Like Forza Horizon 5 is all of Mexico, air quotes. You can drive across it in like 10 minutes. But this is supposed to be the entire western half of the US. It's not very large. I don't know if some things sunk, even though all the coasts are proportional. Like San Francisco's still there. It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that's a digression. The game's main storyline is like 7 hours long. The map is packed with stuff to do. None of it matters in the slightest. And you want to know the craziest thing? The game separates your quests into main, side, and errand. The quests that you most often associate with side quests are actually called errands in Horizon, and they're just like, go collect these things, or go do this thing, or my kid lost their ball down there. There's actually a dinosaur there looking at the ball. The side quests are actually like mini stories, like a real proper side quest should be.
Yeah.
You get cinematics. They're long. They're like 30 to 45 minutes.
They keep the world open. They
and
make the world alive.
They're really interesting, but you want to know the terrible thing? They're worthless. They don't give you anything. The progression system in Horizon Forbidden West is awful. You don't get anything for progressing. Like leveling up, I couldn't notice a power difference.
No, but
the gear and the progression in Horizon Forbidden West are awful. So much so that it de-emphasizes you from doing other content for XP, because why would you bother?
Yeah.
The combat system is overcomplicated. There's like 9 status effects now. Why? Why are there 9 status effects? You don't need any of them. In fact, like 2 status effects are more powerful than all the rest of them, even if they're not weak against those. Horizon is a game that's always struggled against itself because Guerrilla Games made the Killzone games, and it's clear that they don't actually know how to handle a progression system. They got the rest of it down. They just need to get someone who understands what progression means. Horizon Forbidden West is not the game that I necessarily wanted to play. I had hoped Guerrilla would do a better job on the second go-around. But I gotta say, I'm not displeased by it. I would say play it, but it's not gonna shatter your world. It's just gonna be a fun time for, I don't know, 7 to a billion hours if you want to clear the entire map of useless things.
Right.
So I enjoyed it, but I am very sad that it is what it is. I'm very sad.
Yeah.
And speaking on the same note of PlayStation exclusives, God of War Ragnarok, November 9th. Did you ever play 2018? God of War 2018, the remake?
I saw all the way through it.
It's good. It's a good
decent.
game. Don't you decent me.
It's decent. Like,
can you do boy? Boy. Boy. Boy.
I liked a lot of it.
I greatly enjoyed playing through it.
I thought it was good. The only thing I didn't really like is the open world thing a little much, because it just seemed like a time sink thing to.
Yeah, it was.
It was just trying to stretch it.
Although when you see like Jormungandr in the lake, like that was cool.
No, I'm saying a lot of it I liked.
Yeah,
it was just like little side questy. Let's go here and here. That was just the way to stretch it out.
I mean, yeah, because it wasn't a super long game. I don't believe.
But none of the God of Wars were ever long.
But none of the God of Wars were this. Like, God of War 2018 was a massive change of pace.
Yes.
Like, huge. They made a weirdly tactical combat game out of it. Like, that was like, I gotta do this over here, and I gotta do this over here. It wasn't just mash buttons and rip, like, harpies in half.
I miss those days.
But I'm very excited for Ragnarok. I am intentionally just staying completely in the dark regarding spoilers.
Like I do with some games.
Yeah, I don't know why. I've always enjoyed the God of War games, but God of War 2018, I did really enjoy. I thought it was
fair,
quite good. And I yelled the word boy for quite a while.
I know you did.
Boy.
So
boy. Some other games I've been playing. I put a few hours into a game called Craftopia. It's terrible. It's terrible.
And this is why you should. So you're putting all your time into these games that you didn't spend.
I said a couple. Said a couple.
And those couple of games could have turned into a probably mostly complete, or at least a quit playthrough of Sonic 06.
Oh God, no. Anyways, Craftopia is terrible. Don't play Craftopia.
Yeah,
it's an early access game, and it should never come into full release, in my opinion. Just ever. It's terrible. What else have I? Jeez, I haven't had a lot of time to play much. In the Steam sale, I picked up V Rising. Have you heard of V Rising?
No.
It is a vampire. I don't know if they actually call it open world, but it is an isometric vampire survival and crafting game.
Oh, okay.
I usually don't go for those, but I was like, this one looks more Diablo-esque than it does like Minecraft-y. So basically, you're a vampire.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Ooh.
Ooh.
You go to this weird medieval kingdom that apparently has problems with vampires, and you build a base and live your vampire days and like raid the castle and stuff like that.
You mean Vampire Knights?
No, you can be out in a day. You just can't stand in the sun. It's a heavily forested area, and you can stand in all the tree shadows.
Oh my god.
The game actually like will start like igniting your vision. Like it'll start washing out super bright if you stand in the sun as you start dying. But yeah, you can run around during the day. You just can't stand directly in sunlight.
I missed a lot out on the Steam sale this year.
It was a standard Steam sale.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying is there was quite a few games that I wanted that went really cheap, and I was going to hit you up about it today, but
it ended today.
I know it ended at 2:00.
Yeah.
I was going to hit you up this morning about it, but your communication skills this week have sucked, so...
You know, you could have still sent me the message. I would have seen it probably like 5 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then would have served ultimately no purpose. Because they're going to say, hey, I'm going to give you $20 if you can pick me up these couple games.
Well, there's a fall sale coming.
Yeah, whatever.
In the fall.
Yeah.
I
got plenty of games to play in the meantime. And I don't have much room on my computer.
The other game I picked up at the Steam sale was New World, the Amazon game. So I don't know how familiar you are with New World.
None at all.
Okay, so Amazon Game Studios. Famously, Jeff Bezos was like, we got to have video games. So he created Amazon Game Studios, and he hired some really incompetent people to run it.
This is going to be good.
They released a game way back. It was called Crucible. Do you remember Crucible?
No, I don't.
It was the first Amazon Studios game, and it was like a bad, weird third person League of Legends kind of knockoff thing. It was so bad that Amazon refunded everybody who bought it and pulled it out of beta and never released it again. They just canned the game after it was already out in like 3 months. It was awful. I think it had a total player count on Steam of like 14 at one point.
Yeah, it's got a 44.
It's pretty bad. So Amazon,
I don't remember this at all.
No one does. And Amazon's hoping you don't. Anyways, for the longest time, they developed an MMO called New World. It is set on a mysterious island in the ocean where time is like fractured. And the setting is an alternate history fantasy black powder setting, which is not a setting a lot of places do.
I've seen this.
Yeah, with the Conquistador helmet, like on the cover. Yeah,
I've seen this.
So New World is a third-person MMO that is heavily oriented to crafting. Okay, crafting and like base building and stuff like that, territory capture. The story behind New World is actually pretty interesting. Somehow, the geniuses at Amazon figured, let's make a hardcore PvP game. The most niche of MMO games. We're going to make it. So the original New World Alpha had stuff like a really deep combat system between players. If you got killed, you could take the player's gear. Like that stuff that hasn't been seen in a very long time, and that most MMOs that implemented it ended up removing or turning it into a huge selling point of the game.
Because people get butthurt.
Yeah, because people get butthurt. At some point, Amazon, between the alpha and beta, was like, oh crap, no one's going to buy this game at all. So, between the alpha and beta, they changed New World completely. No longer was it a hardcore PvP game. It was a PvE game with some PvP in it. And it ends up being just such I've only played a couple hours, but it ends up being such a weird game. Because the PvE is tacked-ish on. The game is clearly built around gigantic player versus player battles for territory control. But the game makes it really hard to get there without doing all this like player versus environment stuff that doesn't feel fully baked. Like they don't even have a dungeon finder for the dungeons in the game, which you could forgive if they were trying to be a hardcore PvE game. Yeah. But they're not. They're adding it next week just because they didn't get a chance to put it in the game yet. I do like the way they do classes, air quotes. You switch your weapon. It's just like Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
Except you're also not locked into a specific set of weapons. You can put on a flintlock. You can have a hatchet, or a great axe, or something like that. And it switches out your skills.
To go with that.
Yeah, and it's cool. And I like a lot of the crafting. The world is really well built. The game is gorgeous. The UI is wonderful to use. But you know the saddest thing is that it has 20,000 players right now. It launched with 1 million. They actually mismanaged the game so bad that at one point they accidentally released a trivial gold bug where everybody just could generate infinite gold. They did it 3 times.
So why did you pick this up?
Because it was $20 and I just wanted to play it.
I was hoping it was like 5, something reasonable.
No, I picked it up. I think Amazon's probably going to kill it in the next year.
So
I like fantasy black powdery games like that setting, that era. So it does appeal to me, and I do
guess.
like it.
Fair enough.
It's not a good game. I don't advocate anybody buy it. I think it could have been a really good game if Amazon knew what they were doing, which they don't.
No.
In any way, shape, or form. They clearly kind of threw together a game studio under the assumption that they could just make a good game without realizing that
requires effort.
It requires a lot more than just effort. It requires
talent.
Not even talent.
Talent, effort, and dedication.
Planning. It requires some kind of planning. You can't just swap your game in the middle of development and be like, okay, like, this game's now a first-person shooter. Like you can't.
You can. Yes, you can.
Speaking of that, the original Halo 2 city demo is coming to Master Chief Collection. Like the one they showed off at E3 in like 2002.
Okay.
Apparently 343 Studios found it and refurbished it and is putting it into the Master Chief Collection. I thought that was pretty nifty. 343 hasn't been very good for Halo, but that's going to be really cool to play.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's what I picked up in the Steam sale. By the way, you had said before about playing Valheim. Valheim is actually going to go on Game Pass here in September, I think.
Is it cross-platform?
Yes.
I guess I'll have to play that game again. God damn it.
What's wrong with Valheim? What?
Nothing.
Did you say something?
Nope.
Okay. I heard just silence.
Yeah. I didn't like Valheim. Like, there was something about it I just wasn't digging.
Did you not like wielding all those Vikings' horns?
Fair enough. I don't know. I was playing with Cheetah and her friend for a while, and I just wasn't...
You weren't Valheim in it?
No, I wasn't Valheim in it.
Okay. All
so...
right. That's fair.
I mean...
But what if you play with me?
Since you have it on Game Pass, I'll talk to Cheetah when she comes back, and we'll all work together.
I think it's coming out in like September.
Oh, we got time now.
You got plenty of time. Don't worry.
We have plenty of time to get through our Fallout 4.
Yeah, Fallout 4.
Speaking of which,
yeah, we're
with our last couple minutes, we're going to go over that.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited about this. I haven't played Fallout 4 since it came out.
So I guess the other thing is, because she was like asking about it, do we get a reroll? If we have something...
Yes.
We get one reroll?
Do you mean a reroll for like a full reroll or a per area reroll?
A full reroll.
Okay, so it's an all or nothing.
It's an all or nothing.
Because there's some bad choices in there, like getting primary weapon traps. Like, that'd just be the worst.
I know. You could beat the game with it. It'll just be really hard.
I'm just trying to think of how you beat the game with it. Like, hold on, you 50 ghouls. Let me set down my traps real quick.
I hope you don't walk into this.
You know, what is a gun but a tube-shaped trap?
Exactly. You would build my trap card. Plop, plop, plop.
So, yeah. Rest in peace, Yu-Gi-Oh! Creator.
Yeah.
But
one reroll each.
Okay, yeah.
Are we gonna randomize looks, or do we want to
randomize looks? You can't do anything.
And
else.
Gender?
Randomized everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Because that's gonna. All right. So I guess we'll flip a coin for that.
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
So get on your phone. Let's get the generator going.
Okay. All right.
Cheetah will have to post hers because she decided to jump in on this.
Let's see here.
She wanted to partake, so she's going to jump in on it.
Jump on it?
Jump on it.
Copyright strike.
Yep.
All right. Let me find this generator. You linked it like 3,000 years ago. There it is. All right, Fallout 4 scenario generator.
Yep.
Okay.
When you click on it, do you want to start the first reroll as the initial roll, or just click on the site and that'll be what you get?
I mean, I got a roll here.
Yeah, you get one for as soon as you click on the site.
It's actually a pretty good roll. It doesn't. I mean, it's incredibly conflicting, but it's for the rolls that I've seen this thing generate. This is pretty decent.
Okay.
But no, we can totally reroll.
Well, why don't you screenshot that?
All right.
And then you do your reroll, and then we'll let you pick one of those.
Melee weapons, blunt, intelligence 10.
I took mine. All right.
I can't screenshot the whole thing. So
No, you screenshot the first half and then screenshot the bottom part.
I can save it as a PDF.
Don't do that. Just
I can save it as a
screenshot it.
PDF.
Don't be a loser. Just screenshot it.
Oh, come on.
So then
do.
reroll.
All right, let me take this. Okay, there we
You
go.
ready?
All right.
Do you want your reroll or?
Do we get to pick between the two of them?
No.
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 You know what? This one's usable.
I'm debating if this one's usable or not.
So this one is heavy strength and intelligence and charisma. Nothing else, pretty much. For some reason, I have to be in big guns and science, but my primary weapon must be a blunt melee weapon, and I have to use Porter Gauge. My primary settlement is County Crossing. I don't even know where that is. I can't steal anything, but I must constantly murder people, and I must side with the Minutemen.
That's awesome.
So I will point out that the primary weapon is at least usable here, and I do have strength to use it. On the other hand, the rest of this is nonsense.
Here's mine.
Okay.
Strength 4, Perception 7, Endurance 5, Charisma 8, Intelligence 4, Agility 7, Luck 5.
Okay.
My primary perks to acquire are Massachusetts Surgical Journal,
Okay.
Robot Sympathy
All right.
from Codsworth,
Yeah.
Better Criticals, Grim Reaper Sprint, Solar Powered.
You got 5? I only got 3.
And then my primary weapon is pistols.
Oh, you lucked out.
My companion's John Hancock.
You really lucked out.
My primary settlement is Coastal Cottage. I don't know where that is.
It's probably on the coast. It's probably a cottage.
Ha, 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 ha. Theft is habitual,
Okay.
and unprovoked murder is frequent,
Yeah.
and Brotherhood of Steel.
Ew.
That's
that
weird.
doesn't make any sense. The Brotherhood is
So I'm going to take the reroll.
Okay, yeah, that's weird. What'd you get?
Ooh, Far Harbor Survivalist, Gifts of Gab,
Okay.
4-Leaf Clover,
Okay.
Cap Collector,
Okay.
high intelligence, high endurance. Everything else is mediocre.
What's your weapon?
primary weapon? The cryo.
Oh,
That's gonna be rough.
That's horrible.
My companion's Curly, Green Top Nursery. If it's too tempting to resist for thefts.
Okay.
Constant rampage killing people and Brotherhood of Steel
Yeah,
again.
Brother to Steel. Yeah, that's worse. That's
It's way worse. Can I really have one more? 'Cause that's not even functional. The cryo's not even functional.
Sure, go ahead. Did you get traps? Did you get traps?
Sure did.
Oh.
I'm going for this one. I have to.
Oh, traps. That's the worst.
Underground Railroad, constant rampage, habitual theft. The settlement is the Mechanist's Lair.
Okay.
Deacon is my companion. Primary weapon is traps.
So I did notice this generator assumes you have all the DLC. Because Mechanist's Lair is in the Robot Automaton DLC.
Yeah.
Far,
right.
Far Harbor Survivalist is in the Far Harbor DLC.
But yeah, it's about time to call it a night.
I don't know if I want to keep this roll out.
We'll send it in for our rolls that we're keeping.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Have a good night.
See you, everybody.